Sunday 25th of December 2016 and we wish you a Merry Christmas to all those who celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ, and may the spirit of Christmas bring you and your family hope, happiness and love. Let's now look at the paper highlights, and this is Sylvia Shivamurthy and you're listening to the newspaper reviews on www.athavaneng.com. The main highlight in Sunday Times says, alleged corruption leaves 1,300 multi-day boats without vital equipment. Funds meant to buy equipment to be fixed on fishing vessels have been returned to the Treasury as officials responsible for the purchase allegedly demanded commissions from sellers. An official meeting was told this week. Accordingly, 2.3 billion had been returned by the Fisheries Ministry to the Treasury as the officials failed to award the contracts to suppliers of 3 different items needed by fishermen to conform to European Union regulations. The equipment, which includes vessels monitoring system and fish finders, was due to be fitted on 1,300 multi-day fishing boats. Fisheries Minister Mahinda Amaravira, at a meeting he presided over, raised questions as to why the funds had to be returned to the Treasury because of the failure to work out the contract. During the meeting, officials blamed each other for demanding commissions from companies to award the contract. Fisheries Minister Secretary Mangalika Adhikari confirmed that the funds had been returned as they had not been put to use. She said she was preparing a report to be submitted to the minister. Mr. Amaravira said action could be taken against those responsible for the failure to work out the tenders and implement the project. One of the key requirements of the EU to lift the ban on fish export to European countries was that the vessel monitoring system should be fitted in boats. The ban was lifted this year, enabling Sri Lanka to resume exports to EU countries. Another highlight says, festival hampers or other gifts are bribes state employees want. Giving seasonal gifts to state employees could amount to an act of corruption. The Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption has given this warning to the Ministry of Public Administration and Management and several business chambers. The highlight in the middle says, huge fuel bill mars President's Iran visit. Ahead of a proposed visit to Iran by President Maithripala Sirisena, the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation has been told to pay a fuel import bill of more than 37 billion rupees it owes to that country. CPC officials were called to the Foreign Ministry on Thursday and were told to pay the long overdue bill as Iranian officials were due in Sri Lanka soon to discuss plans for the president's visit. They are also expected to discuss modalities of payments. There's another highlight which says, alleged Indian ambassador wanted to open bank in Lanka. Alleged Indian ambassador Abhishek Joshi, who created a cooperative bank of 160 million, had been planning to start a financial institution in Sri Lanka and had even met President Maithripala Sirisena, Indian media said. And the highlight at the bottom says, drug stocks replenished to combat dengue. The Ministry of Health has ordered more supplies of intravenous solution Drexton from a Thai supplier to treat a growing number of patients suffering from dengue hemorrhagic fever, which is known to cause a state of shock, bleeding from the skin and nose, and can be fatal. Let's now move to the paper highlights in Sunday Observer. The main highlight says, government open to suggestions, says Iran Vikramaratne. The government will discuss the future of the development bill within the constitutional and regional framework, considering the suggestions and amendments made by the provincial councils which oppose the bill in its present form. Deputy Minister of Public Enterprise Development Iran Vikramaratne told the Sunday Observer yesterday. Another highlight says, TPA wants government to see constitution through. The Tamil Progressive Alliance will exert pressure on the government to ensure that the new constitution sees the light of the day, says Minister Manu Ganeshan. Minister Ganeshan told the Sunday Observer that the TPA is not happy with certain activities carried out by some people in the government. The highlight in the middle says, CAFFE calls for immediate gazetting of report. The much-awaited Delimitation Review Committee report on the demarcation of the wards in local government bodies is to be presented to the provincial councils and local government Minister Faiza Mustafa on Tuesday, December 27th. And the highlight at the bottom says, Parliament ponders 3 options. Parliament is considering 3 options to elect Prime Minister, who will be the head of state under the new constitution that is in the making, authoritative sources told the Sunday Observer. The legislators are deliberating if the PM should be elected under the conventional Westminster model or if he should be directly elected in people's poll. The third option is for political parties to pre-nominate a PM to whom they will be committed to after the election, the sources said. And now let's move to the paper highlights in Ceylon today. The top highlight says, Iran offers interest-free loan. Corrupt EC member shoot down $1.8 billion offer. An Iranian company has offered $1.8 billion interest-free loan for the Sapugasganda oil refinery expansion project, but a few members of the Economic Council of the government are allegedly trying to scuttle the deal because it does not offer an avenue for a commission rip-off, Ceylon today reliably learns. And the highlight in the middle says, Hemant to the port transfer detrimental to nationals' interest. And the highlight at the bottom says, China be oil tank farm economically, politically pivotal. That's all for today's newspaper highlights, and we'll get back to you with more news tomorrow. Thank you.